Welcome back, everybody, to the Legends of Sport podcast. I'm Andy Bernstein, your host, and we are coming to you today with a very special edition of the Legendary Photographer series. My guest today is Mikey Williams. He's the staff photographer for Top Rank Boxing, and last night they had live boxing in Las Vegas. Figure that, during a pandemic. They have instituted an incredible quarantine program at the MGM Grand. Mikey was part of that. He shares that with us on the podcast. The fighters were quarantined. You're going to see some pretty intimate pictures of fighters going head to head. But Mikey said it was all tested, all kosher, all good, and he's got the photos to prove it. So very happy that Mikey is joining us today and bringing this to you guys. Mikey got started in photography a little bit later in life. He was in the Navy. He found out when he went to become a Navy SEAL that he was actually colorblind, so he couldn't become a Navy SEAL. Left the military, went to college, became a photographer, worked for my great friend John Suhu covering the 2017 and 18 World Series. And lo and behold, he ends up in Vegas working for Top Rank, which is the top of the line boxing promotion company. And there he is. He is producing unbelievable boxing photos. I mean, I shot a lot of boxing in my day. If I got maybe 3 pictures of a punch connecting to a guy's face, I was lucky in my whole career. This guy gets like hundreds of them every single match he goes out to. Wonderful guy, incredibly humble. I met him at a Laker game. He came to a game with one of his fighters, Terrence Crawford, and it was so cool to meet him. Incredibly humble, respectful, and wonderful to have him on the show today. So enjoy Mikey Williams, guys, and as always, I'll see you on the backside. Welcome, Mikey Williams, my man, in Vegas to the Legends of Sport podcast. So I see you're in front of a ring. Fill us in on what's going on, Mikey. Why are we talking today from the ring? You got a mask hanging on by one ear. I mean, what's going on? What's happening?
The real truth is, right now we want to bring sports back, obviously, and UFC has returned, and boxing, obviously wants to follow suit and would be the first boxing promotion to come back. So obviously there's no fans are involved. So what you're looking at in the background here is like a media hall, like in the hotels have, like a wide, big with a set up ring. They did a really good job with all the new screens. And I was talking to you about the other day of how I was in my room shooting a bunch of portraits, getting these guys looking really good for these video screens, because the production online on ESPN, it's we want to raise the bar, when you tune in.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I myself have to raise the bar, of course.
So Mikey, fill us in on what's going on, because you yes, as you said, Top Rank is bringing boxing back, live boxing. The first match was this week. It was actually last night as we record this. So what was the protocol? Did you have to quarantine yourself, and the fighters had to be quarantined inside the hotel? How did it all work?
We're tested twice a week. And I was here on Saturday, got tested. Had to wait 7 to 10 hours for results. So what they told us to do was, come at night. That way you can fall asleep, and by the time you wake up, you'll be cleared to work.
Right.
So that's kind of what everybody's been doing. Once everybody's got cleared, we get some bracelets. It's the okay sign to kind of go around and work, and because you get these scanned from location to location. Everything's not really inside one bubble. It's kind of one big giant bubble, and MGM Grand and Top Rank Boxing have been working really hard in the logistics part of it. Escorting, using security to escort you through, to the conference center to go get something to eat, to come back to your room. So they wanted to keep everybody as clean and safe as possible, especially like the fighters. So we've just been following rules and inside the bubble. So I'm not trying to go gambling or any of that right now.
You probably couldn't, right?
I haven't been working for 3 months, man.
Yeah, you and me both, pal. But you couldn't kind of mingle with the public, right? You couldn't go out into the main floor or restaurants or anything like that.
No swimming, going down, hanging out with the girls in the bikinis or nothing.
Well, how long is this going to go on for? Because I know you have cards this whole week.
So the schedule is Tuesday, Thursday fights.
Yeah.
They're calling it the summer series. Yeah. So every Tuesday and Thursday we're gonna have a fight, and hopefully that noise above there's not too.
That's all right. You're in the boxing environment. That's cool.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
And we have weigh-ins, we have photo shoots, and they have ESPN fighter meetings that they do throughout the day. So it's a nonstop, revolving, I guess, controlled chaos is what I like to say.
Well, how weird has it been? I mean, this is so different than your normal workflow. And
of course, well, they put me to work, man.
Yeah, is it more work or
I'm earning my bucks. Yeah. It's more, because of the production side of it. Usually, what happens is they say, okay, Mikey, we're gonna need you to shoot the TV main events only, which is only 3.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've got 5 or 6 cards, 6 fights on the card.
Yeah.
Doing all fighters, so 12 fighters with new poses. So it's taking a little bit longer, but it's part of growing and learning, and it's just what we do.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I want to pull up some pictures, man, from last night.
Okay.
You sent me.
I had a rough night. Don't get
Now this is not. No, stop. Come on.
So before we get into the pictures, we weren't allowed 6 feet next to the ring.
Right, that's what I was going to ask you. So you couldn't be ringside. So you
can't be ringside.
You got this. This is a ridiculous picture, by the way.
It's pretty cool, huh? It looks better on that screen than it did on my camera.
It's what you do best, Mikey.
Really cool people who do editing and I pick the photos in my camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I tell you something. You are just a master at getting the actual punch. I mean, it's incredible.
So he's working remotely off site and picking and choosing what photos go up. So my obstacle ringside was obviously finding a spot that was, visibly where I can see the guys fighting.
Sure.
And down low on the floor wasn't going to work because I'd have to shoot between the ropes, and then I had to deal with the lights. And the ring is so high.
Yeah.
It made it a little bit more difficult. So I knew I had to get somewhat above the ring.
Right.
And I don't know if you can see next to me. There's they got these 2 platforms for video.
Right.
For the video guys to kind of get up.
So that's where you were? You are on one of those?
6 feet away from him. Yeah, everybody has to be 6 feet away apart.
I mean, these guys,
they came to fight, man. You can tell that they were hungry and they wanted to come back to work just as much as I did.
It's just so bizarre and crazy during the pandemic that these guys can just be like face to face, like mixing body fluids together. But look, this is what
tested multiple times, and
incredible.
I was telling myself the other day, if they allowed me to go ringside, I would do it. But then I thought about it, and I was like, maybe not. I want to shoot boxing for a while. And I want to get out of here too early.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is a great photo. Who is this fighter? Who's this guy?
This is Shakur Stevenson.
Right.
Yep, and he's actually the 126-pound champion. Last night he fought at 130 for the first time.
Oh, okay.
But he's really not really confident in himself. His team, the top rank, has real high expectations for him.
Right.
People calling him the next Floyd Mayweather, but he wants to be better than Floyd and his manager Andre Ward. Yeah. So they're saying, I want this kid to be better than us. So he's on his way. He looked really good last night. Really sharp. Speed was there. He did get a little injured on his hand, but I think he's good to go. So look out for Shakur Stevenson in the future.
That's awesome, man. So Mikey, let's go back in time here a little bit, because what we love to do on the Legends of Sport podcast is we like to learn about how everything started.
All right.
And our research, Veronica spoke to you, and I also know from the research that she did that you grew up in Gardena, right?
Well, Torrance.
Okay, you grew up in Torrance.
Right next door, but I grew up in the South Bay in Torrance.
Okay, and you went to El Camino College, right? So were you doing photography growing up, or how did photography come into your life?
I found photography pretty much when I went back to school. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what I wanted to do after I got out of the military.
Yeah.
So when I went back to school, the military they pay you. I forgot the name, but
GI Bill or whatever it is.
it's a grant. It's a grant to get you get back going and find
Oh, okay.
stuff to
Right.
do. So when
Mm-hmm.
I went back to El Camino College, I met a teacher. His name was Gary Kohatsu,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the photojournalism teacher.
Right. Right.
The class,
Yeah.
and my first assignment was baseball. And you know me,
Yeah.
baseball is my sport. I grew up playing since I was 5 years old, and
Okay.
I said,
Okay.
"Oh my gosh, I didn't really know about photography. I knew nothing." And some people ask me, "How'd you get the eye?"
Mm-hmm.
And I seriously don't really know,
Mm-hmm.
but like I was talking with Veronica
Yeah.
about it. I think it's maybe because me and my dad, when growing up, I used to collect baseball cards and football cards and hockey and probably looked at most of your images, opening up them packs and
Yeah.
posters I
Right.
used to put on my wall. Yeah, it was me and my dad would do that all day long, and
Mhm.
unconsciously, maybe that's what happened. I kind of knew how a photo was supposed to look already.
Yeah.
So by the time I got out there, I found a new passion
Mhm.
in photography, and I said, "This is it. I
Wow.
want to do this." So it was pretty cool to find out that there was a position that you
Yeah.
could live in taking pictures. So I said, "Let's go."
So how did that transition to work, to a career? I mean, one thing doing it in college, and
you
you had
know,
already been in the military, you in the Navy, so you're a little bit older now, and you
right?
try to get
Yeah, I
into
was the
the
oldest in my
workforce.
class for
Yeah.
sure. That's for sure.
Right.
Don't make me sound too old there.
Right.
But but I definitely was, and like I said, I was 33 years old, and
Mhm.
there was Gary Kohatsu was also the editor at the Gardena Valley newspaper,
Oh,
and
okay.
since he was like, Mikey, you really got something. There's something really here that's you can really do this if you want to do it. And I said, well, what do we have to do? We got to get credentials. How do we get credentials? That's kind of like when
Mhm.
everybody contacts me, how do you get involved in
Yeah.
photography? I want to get credentials somewhere. And I
Right.
think that's the magic question that that's the barrier that everybody has to deal with.
Hmm.
And for me, I used the Gardena Valley newspaper as a key to get me in onto Dodger Stadium. And
Okay.
so we applied for credentials to get to Dodger Stadium, and
Hmm.
lo and behold, John Suhu,
I
who
think
took
I
me
know that guy. Yeah.
John Suhu, he's wonderful. He took me under his wing and said, "Mikey, you want to come and help us out?" And I said, "No problem."
That's
So I
awesome.
became you know, me and my dad said I wanted to be a Dodger growing up, and
Yeah.
being a part of the Dodgers team, working with the World Series with that team and John
Sure.
Suhu, it
Yeah.
was it was a dream come true. It was next to not pitching for them, but photographer for them, I'll take it any day of the week.
Well, it's interesting, Mikey, because John, I know, is he's a very generous guy, but he also, he just doesn't give out jobs willy-nilly. I mean, you have to have the talent, but the really important thing to John, and I reached out to him before we talked today, is that he expressed that your enthusiasm for what you did and wanting to be a team player, and the quality of your work was just so great that you fit into his team perfectly. And coming from John, it couldn't have a higher compliment than that, right?
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
John, man, he's a great guy, and like I said, all the people that work for him,
Hmm.
they're awesome to work with next
Yeah.
to, and
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's pretty cool. He's gotten in my butt a couple times on the baseball field, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it because you know he's
Right.
given me a second chance a couple
Right.
times. I
So,
thank him so much.
so Mikey, how did the whole boxing thing come up? Tell us that
Yeah,
story.
how it tied into boxing was I was doing some work for the Dodgers. I was still pretty much in college,
Hmm.
doing some work there, and I'd shoot anything. I'd shoot babies. I'd shoot food. I'd
Yeah.
shoot you know pregnant women. I'd shoot it all because I loved it, and I wanted to learn how to use lighting. I wanted to know everything about the camera because,
Yeah.
like I said, I started late. So at
Mhm.
night I would go on the internet on YouTube. I learned a lot on YouTube. Chris Wallace, he has some series on YouTube, and
Mhm.
he would show me something, and I would go out and I'd practice it. And I
Yeah.
had the funny story is I had this fish tank set up on my wall in my little apartment,
Hmm.
and every time I'd get a camera or anytime I'd feel like I'm kind of not getting it, I'd master that camera and I'd follow fish around when they're swimming around the tank.
Yeah.
learn how to control my camera and
Ah,
anticipate the movements and the water to flow. So that was that helped me a lot as well. So,
yeah,
but
awesome.
how I got into boxing was
Hmm.
there was a fighter. His name was Brandon Rios,
Hmm.
and Brandon fought for Top Rank at the time.
Hmm.
And he said, "Mikey, I need a new team photographer. You ever?" Actually, it was his publicist Nancy. She contacted me and said, "Would you like to shoot some boxing?" And I'm like, "Boxing? What's that?" Like the only thing I knew boxing was Mike Tyson,
Yeah,
and fights when my dad had people over watching them. So I said, "You know what? I love photography so much, and it's a passion of mine. I'm willing to try it."
yeah.
So Brandon invited me out to Oxnard, and I photographed him working out, and he really enjoyed my work and the company,
Hmm.
and we've been together ever since, and that's been going on for like 8 years now.
So Brandon's with Top Rank? Is
He's
he?
not with Top Rank no more, no.
Okay, but
He
that
was
got
opposite.
you the foot in the door with Top Rank, right?
Yep, Top Rank.
And they were looking for somebody full time, right? And
Well,
so,
there was another photographer. His name is Chris Farina, who was here
sure, I
before
remember Chris. Yeah,
26 years.
yeah.
Great photographer. Me and him worked as a great team.
Hmm.
He kind of took me under his wing, and
Hmm.
we handled the boxing thing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Uh, he taught me a lot of things, and um, Top Rank needed somebody because at the time, social media and the digital world was like exploding. We needed
Mhm.
fast, 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 fast. You
Yeah.
couldn't fit in your camera.
Hmm.
And they asked me, Mikey, can you get these photos faster? And I said, no problem. So that's what I did. I learned how to shoot less and
Yeah.
quality over quantity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, they brought me in, and man, I'm so thankful to Top Rank for giving me the opportunity, as well
yeah.
as and everybody involved, all the people that's helped me, man, along the way. Robert Beck,
Hmm.
Jeff Lewis, those
Yeah.
guys I've been following forever on Instagram and stuff. Al Bello,
Uh-huh.
even Neil Leifer. Neil Leifer, I just shot his last boxing fight together.
Wow, that's
Great dude.
amazing.
Yeah. So
Well, you talk about the Godfather right there. I mean,
indeed, it don't get
greatest
better than
sports
that.
photo in history is Ali over Liston, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
1964 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So let's look at some of your pictures. I know that you well, this one you told us was probably your favorite one. Um,
Yeah.
this is an unbelievable moment. You know, the thing about you, Mikey, that really catches my eye is that you're you're so locked in. I mean, a lot of photographers would only be focused on the guy on the canvas. You know, you saw something else, and I see that over and over with your work, your portrait work, all your behind the scenes stuff. But a picture like this is so rare. I mean, my God, this is an
Thank you.
incredible picture, dude.
Thank you so much. And
Incredible. Yeah.
if you want, I can kind of go over that photo with you
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
and
Please.
talk about being locked in. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Prior to leaving for that night from my hotel room,
Mm-hmm.
it was the total opposite. Everything was going bad. Like
Uh-oh. Yeah.
my assistant was late. We started walking, and I lost a card that I had shot. I did some photos outside the room, and by the time I got inside, what happened to that card? Well, it was lost.
Nice.
And during the fights, my timing was off.
Yeah.
I was spilling water bottles over my computer. Like anything that was going wrong was like
Yeah.
it was going wrong that night. And I remember telling Christina Poncher, who does commentating for Top Rank,
Mm-hmm.
Christina, I'm not really happy, because I want to get photos. I want to make iconic photos all the time. And
Yeah.
she goes, Mikey, you're not going to have it every night. And I said, no, I'm going to keep trying. She goes, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to keep trying. You're going to keep punching,
Yeah.
and you'll get one. You'll get one. Just keep going, keep going. So
Yeah.
this was obviously the last fight. He was the main event, and all of a sudden a punch came out of nowhere, and boom, and he fell right over me. And he
Yeah.
did this jump. He did a backflip, and that was the picture.
Wow.
It's funny, things happen and you just have to battle through them,
Yeah.
and
But
just stay positive, be locked in, because had I
Mhm.
said, what, it's just an off night or whatever, this
Mhm.
this photo could have been very well out of focus, and it wouldn't have done
Mhm.
anything. But
Yeah.
I nailed it.
No,
And
you did nail it, dude. And it's an
he's
amazing,
perfectly
amazing
vertical. Look
picture.
at him. I haven't really looked at this picture. I'm on a big screen right now, but
Yeah, it's amazing.
perfectly vertical.
I
And
mean, it looks like you have the referee on the right side of the
yeah,
frame
yeah,
here,
he was
right?
standing right in front
So
of me.
another 3 inches or something, he would have probably blocked it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
amazing,
I know the guy on my right. He was probably
amazing
a little
picture. Yeah,
pissed.
amazing picture. I mean, I can't show all the ones you sent. I mean, I love this one. And what's the story behind this picture?
Oh, this guy is Ruger. He's from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was so humid that day.
Yeah.
But he's got a little gym outside of his other gym, and
Mm-hmm.
I noticed all the clouds. I don't know if you've ever been in New Orleans. I'm sure you've been to New
Yeah,
Orleans.
yeah, many times.
Those clouds in New Orleans are like no other. I
Yeah.
was like, man, I need to get this portrait outside.
Uh-huh.
So I really enjoy using my Pro Photo lighting,
Mm-hmm.
off-camera lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I just grabbed a light, an A1, and placed it next to the turnbuckle underneath him, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of lit him up and let the sun kind of highlight his body.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
voila,
Gorgeous.
yeah,
Gorgeous.
thank you so much. Yeah,
Gorgeous.
Ruguru, pretty cool
Yeah.
dude.
I mean, I could show a million of your pictures. I mean, your reactions are incredible. I mean, look at this reaction; is crazy. That's so great, incredible.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
light was hitting him in his face there. It looks a little overblown here, but
yeah. People don't realize how intense it is ringside. I mean, people just don't get it. I'm going to show this picture of you ringside doing your thing.
Hey, Dennis, anybody, can y'all hop on heads real quick? Want to see something?
But
it's me in my element. Like I
yeah,
said.
I've spent enough time ringside myself, and
Yeah.
it's intense, man. And back in the film days, when you really could only use one camera, maybe you can have a second camera, but you can't put the camera on the canvas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have maybe an assistant behind you loading cameras and handing them to you, but in that handoff, you could miss a knockout, right?
Of course.
So the whole thing was really budgeting your film for the 3 minutes. You got 36 images, and can't tell you how many times like I got a decent shot on like frame 34 or 35. Yeah, crazy.
Whenever I watch those old fights and I see those guys with them old cameras, that's one thing that taught me to learn how to trust my ability over the camera, because I knew that if those guys did it, guess what? I can do it with these new cameras.
Yeah. No,
I'm not one of those guys that hammer on the trigger too much, because like I said before, getting images out fast is number one priority. So I've taught myself to shoot 1 or 2 frames only.
Yeah.
And
really? So you're not really leaning on the motor drive. You're really going single or 2 frames, or that's about it.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Mikey, what's the deal with this picture? What was going on? I mean, obviously the dude's going into an ambulance, but
it's a broken jaw here, and he went through a fight in it's old StubHub, California.
Yeah.
He fought a guy named Scott Quigg, and Scott Quigg, when he weighed in over like 5 pounds or something crazy like that, 6 pounds. Yeah. Usually they come in like a half a pound over, 1 or nah. This dude just came in. He said, "Forget it. I don't want the belt. I just want to beat you." So Oscar was so pumped up. He said, "I'll take the fight." Yeah. He's a bigger guy, not Oscar, but the other guy came in obviously the day after, and he was big, man.
Yeah.
And he was strong. And so Oscar fought him. I think he broke his jaw in I want to say the 4th round, and went pretty much he went the distance. Yeah, he went all 12 rounds and fought with a broken jaw. So after the fight was over, they carted him off and they took him to the hospital. And he wired his mouth shut forever. Man, I couldn't do that. But Oscar's a warrior. He's one of my friends. I've been shooting him since the old solo boxeo days when he fought 6-7 times a week.
Wow.
So it's that's one. When you show me a picture like that, I'm so proud of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like you make relationships with these fighters, and I think bigger than the photography. We have our responsibility to provide some cool images, but I remember his pain, and I remember when that laugh, and that was a really cool moment between me and Oscar. So it's been a blessing to get these photos.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
but
for me, like, I wanted to ask you, like when you shoot basketball, is it always like the first time you shoot, or is it like another day? Or
no, I honestly, I approach every game almost pretty much the same. You get a little more juiced up for for an NBA Finals game, or a game that is significant in a way. Maybe the matchup, or you're going to see a player that you don't usually see very often. But I approach it the same way now that I've done my whole career. Honestly, it's the same thing for you. Probably, if it's a title match.
With the crowds and
the whole thing. Yeah. But the scene around boxing there's nothing to compare with that. That's an incredible atmosphere around boxing.
They're yelling. I hope the butterflies don't ever go away. And I had them coming into this podcast too, by the way.
No, man, come on. I'm glad we're doing this podcast from the element, because most of the time people are doing it, from their home, or, they're calling in from a hotel room or whatever. But, to see you in your element, that's pretty impressive, man.
Cool. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks composed pretty good, don't it?
Yeah.
We got some backlight going on, and
that's all right.
Phil,
you got some beeping going on. You got all that kind of stuff.
And give me a nice key light here.
Yeah.
Nice. He's my guy.
Hey, Mikey, what's your favorite part of your job? What do you like the best?
I think it's the people, man. I think hanging around is a lot of passionate people like myself.
Yeah.
I think that's the most funnest part, being able to interact with the fans too, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when you get something really nice as far as photography, but there's nothing like, when we all came together after being off for 3 months, seeing everybody, glad to be back. And, we travel a lot together on the road.
Yeah.
We're gone 2, 3, 4 weeks out of the month sometimes. And, we go home for a day or two, and then we're back on the road again.
Right.
So,
right.
I think that's my favorite part, to be a part of a passionate group of people like Top Rank, who produce nothing but the best. Day in and day out. I mean, Bob Arum, you tried to get him on your podcast, and we'll make sure we'll make that happen.
Yeah, I would love to. I remember Bob from many, many years ago when I first started out, and he was always very gracious. And Dina and Todd DeBuff, I mean, they're great people. And I actually miss shooting boxing. I used to love shooting boxing back in the day.
Well, you got to get over here. Aren't you coming to Las Vegas?
No, I'm not coming to Vegas. We'll see where I'm going, but it won't be in Vegas for a while. But at some point, our paths will cross. I want to talk about the first time our paths crossed, because you came to Staples Center with one of your fighters, Crawford, right?
Terrence Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska.
Right, and it was so cool because you were like so thrilled to be at Staples, and he was happy to be there, and the guys came over, the players, to meet him and stuff. And it's always interesting when you take an athlete out of their environment, their comfort zone, you put them in another one. And I love to see how that happens, because I see that happen with basketball players, and sometimes NFL players like Todd Gurley used to come to a lot of Laker games. It always fascinates me, right? What was that experience like to be with a boxer but in a basketball environment?
The experience made it better, because that was the first time I pretty much spoke with you and met you.
Yeah, that's right.
A picture of me with Crawford, and I have it printed in my office.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so thank you for that, man.
Great.
That was nice of you to allow me to go on courtside and be center court with Terrence. It's a special picture that I have, and I'll cherish for a while. But being able to be on the road with these fighters, Terrence Crawford, at basketball events, or flying on a jet with Tyson Fury, going to see the Rams.
Wow,
man! I mean, these are some of the things that I will never ever forget, and I don't take them for granted. I'm thankful every day, and let's go. Let's do some more. So I know Terrence loves basketball. He's a pretty good player too. There's nothing that guy can't do. Yeah. He's one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter in the world. So be on the lookout for Terrence Crawford, because he's coming.
Yeah, I think didn't he win that fight that you guys were in LA for?
Yeah, he won that fight. And I think he played in the All-Star game too, in the basketball All-Star game.
That's what I heard. Hey, one other thing I wanted to ask you, and Veronica told me, and from talking to you from her research, that you're colorblind. That held you back from being a Navy SEAL? Was being colorblind? Really?
Our buddy wanted to be a Navy. We wanted to join the Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
And I said, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
It was his idea. And he ended up, by the way, he had an ear infection.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up leaving And I was like, man, I've already went through all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to join. So what happens is when you go in the military, they do all these testing on you and
Mm-hmm.
test your eyes and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I found out when they were going through them cards, the circle cards with the dots on them with
Mm-hmm.
different colors, man, I didn't see anything. And I was like,
Huh.
something's wrong with me. Like, what's going on here? Is
Yeah.
this a trick or something? And they said, no, you know what? You're colorblind, and there's pretty much only two jobs that you can do. So one of them was like you work in the office and
Yeah.
or work diesel engines, or be a firefighter. So I ended up doing that on a minesweeper,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, and they didn't want anybody colorblind messing with bombs, I guess.
Yeah. But it fascinates me that you didn't know you were colorblind until you took that test.
Didn't know it.
Your
Yeah.
whole life
Matter of fact,
growing up. Yeah.
No, I went
Wow.
home. I told my mom. I said, you know what? They said I was colorblind. She goes, what? And so we brought it up on the internet, and they have these pictures of houses and stuff.
Yeah.
And come to find out, I guess females carry the trait and can only pass it on to the male, and the male can only be colorblind.
Oh,
So
okay.
I told my grandmother, I said, come on, Grams, what's up with this?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but as far as with the photography, I had to learn the numbers, 5600 Kelvin outside, 3200 tungsten,
Mm-hmm.
all these numbers. So I kind of had to learn the numbers as far as not so much the color in the camera when I look at it. And like I do make sure when I do take pictures, especially using flash and mixed lighting, I asked my editor before we send it out. I said, hey man, how's it look? And he double checks and says, okay, it looks good. Sometimes to me, I'm like, man, that don't look right. And he goes, dude, trust me.
That's awesome.
So I trust him.
Yeah, well, it certainly hasn't held you back. Maybe it prevented you from becoming a Navy SEAL, but you're a gift to our profession, Mikey. And keep doing what you do, man. I mean, your work is just so amazing. And I love your Instagram. Give your Instagram a plug right here. What's your Instagram handle?
Okay, it's 4
Mhm.
Mikey
Mhm.
Williams.
Right. So
Mikey
everybody's got to follow 4 Mikey Williams, right? And
Thank you so much. Yeah.
it's amazing. Keep it up, man. I'll be looking for you ringside. Well, you're not gonna be ringside, but I'll be looking for your pictures after the next couple of cards, the next few days.
They'll get a little bit better once I figure out my spot and I get comfortable. I was doing handheld, and in baseball, you're on a monopod with a bigger, a 300. I figured, I don't need it. I'm holding a 780 200. I don't need a monopod. I can hold it. And after the second fight, I said, oh no.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a little bar to hold my elbow on, and so I need to get the monopod. It'll get better.
Well, the pictures speak for themselves, man. So whatever you had to go through to get them, hell of a job, and keep it up, man. I hope to see you live and in person sometime soon.
Yes, man. Thanks again for having me, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Well,
Legends of Sport. I can't.
Well, great to have you part of Legends of Sport and part of the Legendary Photographer series, because you are a legendary photographer, my friend. So keep it going.
That's great to hear.
All right,
Mikey. It, buddy.
Good to see you, pal. Thanks for making the time and being with us today. And we'll see you down the road.
Cool.
Okay. See you. Bye. Well, big thanks to Mikey Williams for taking the time from his busy schedule there at the MGM Grand to be a guest today on Legends of Sport. Truly a legend of photography. Mikey's work is really amazing, folks. You got to check him out on his Instagram, 4 Mikey Williams. That's the number 4 Mikey Williams. Really, I'm inspired by his work. I'm jealous of him right now that he gets to shoot a live sporting event. But keep it going, Mikey. I know you got a few more cards coming up this week, and there's going to be more and more fights going on as the months go by. So thanks again for being a good friend and coming in and sharing your story with us. Everybody, keep following us at Legends of Sport on Instagram, at Legends_of Sport on Twitter, and our blog, legendsofsport.blog. My photography, as always, can be found at ADB Photo Inc. Huge thanks to my producer and researcher, Veronica Ahn, and a big thanks to our partners over at Think Tank Photo for providing another backpack during our Legendary Photographers series. To qualify for that, got to go on our Instagram at Legends of Sport and you'll find out all the info you need to know about qualifying for that free backpack. So thanks to our buddies over at Think Tank once again. Everybody keep following us, keep coming back. I have more and more legendary photographers coming to you along with our regular podcasts, and it's going to be a great series moving forward as it has been so far. So we'll see you guys soon. Stay well, stay safe, and take care. Bye-bye.